All right, let's get into it. Today, we're plugging in and exploring a pretty wild new frontier, making music in virtual reality. We're going to cover the whole journey, from laying down your very first beat to putting on a full-blown digital performance, all from inside a VR headset. So just imagine for a second, a studio where you have every instrument you could ever want, a place where the walls just disappear, and you never, ever have to worry about the neighbors complaining about the noise. It's the ultimate dream for any musician, right? But in the real world, we all know the frustrations, the cost of gear, finding the space, and just how complex it can all be. Well, VR is starting to change that game completely. Okay, so let's break down exactly how it does that. The biggest hurdles that usually stop people from making music, they pretty much just vanish in VR. That $1,000 synth you've been eyeing, or a massive drum kit that would take up your entire living room. In VR, it's all just data. You can practice at 3 in the morning, full volume, with zero noise complaints. But what's really, really cool is how VR is lowering the skill barrier, giving you these super intuitive tools that help you sound amazing from the second you start playing. So here's our roadmap for today. We're basically going to follow the natural workflow of making a song. We'll kick things off with rhythm and melody, then we'll get into sculpting our own unique sounds, piecing it all together into a full track, and finally, performing and sharing it with the world. Let's jump right in. Every great song has to start with a solid foundation, and that means locking in the core rhythm and melody. This is where you come up with those catchy hooks and solid beats that really define what your song is all about. So when it comes to rhythm, the go-to app for so many people is Paradiddle. Seriously, forget about trying to cram a real drum kit into your home. This thing is a completely customizable percussion playground where you have total control. And what's so impressive here is just how versatile it is. We're talking over 60 different percussion instruments. It's not just your standard rock kit, you've got xylophones, bongos, you name it. If you're a beginner, there are 10 lessons and even a rhythm game mode to get you started. But for the pros, and this is key, it has MIDI in and out. That lets you connect Paradiddle to professional software, a digital audio workstation, turning it into a really serious tool for creation. And this quote just captures the whole philosophy perfectly. It's all about taking the soul of drumming and just freeing it from all those real-world constraints, the cost, the space, and the noise. Okay, so we've got our rhythm. Let's move on to melody and see how we can build on that. For this, we're going to turn to Virtuoso. Now, this app isn't just trying to recreate a piano or a guitar in VR. No, Virtuoso gives you instruments that could only exist in a virtual space. They're designed from the ground up to be played with your hands in 3D. Virtuoso makes it unbelievably easy to sound good, even if you have zero musical training. It has these helpful features like tempo sync and preset scales that automatically keep you in time and on key. You can play these really unique instruments like the organ, which is like this big three-dimensional grid of notes, or you can even use a virtual mic to add your own vocals. And, just like Paradiddle, it can bridge over to the pro world with an API that hooks into your DAW for more serious production. This quote really nails the two sides of Virtuoso. On one hand, it's this fun, playful sandbox for total newcomers. But on the other, it offers a kind of expressive depth that seasoned musicians can really sink their teeth into to create some truly unique sounds and performances. Okay, so we've got our basic beat, we've got our melody. Now for the really fun part, sound design. This is where we go beyond just using preset instruments and start building our own sounds from scratch. It's like being an audio architect. And this brings us to a concept called modular synthesis. Now I know it sounds super intimidating, but just think of it like building with sound Legos. In the real world, this means giant walls of expensive gear and a total mess of patch cables. But in VR, it becomes this intuitive, hands-on process where you're just connecting virtual blocks to create something completely new. The absolute best place to experiment with this is Open Sound Lab. This project is actually the evolution of an older, really beloved app called SoundStage, which eventually went open source. Open Sound Lab is its community-driven next step, and it offers this pure, experimental space for sound design. So the thing to know about Open Sound Lab is its focus. It's not really for composing a full song from start to finish. It's more for that mad scientist phase, where you're creating these one-of-a-kind textures and tones. Yeah, the learning curve is a bit steeper, but the tactile nature of VR makes the whole complex process of modular synthesis feel way more intuitive. And the best part? It's completely free. All right, we have our rhythms, our melodies, and our awesome custom sounds. It's time to bring them all together. This is the production phase, where we take all of our different parts and arrange them into a finished, polished track. To do this, we need a true virtual reality DAW. And for that, we're going to look at Transient. This is the application that gets closest to replicating the raw power of professional desktop software. Stuff like Ableton Live or Logic Pro. But it does it all within an immersive 3D environment. Just look at that first feature, VST3 plugin support. Honestly, this is a total game changer. For producers, this means you can bring your existing library of professional instruments and effects, the tools you already use and love on your computer, directly into VR. It's definitely aimed at more advanced users, but it offers a level of control and flexibility that you just can't find anywhere else in the VR space. This slide really shows the key difference. See, most VR music apps live in what you'd call a curated or walled garden ecosystem. They give you a fantastic set of tools, don't get me wrong, but they're the only tools you get. Transient just tears down those walls. As an open ecosystem, it turns your VR headset into a brand new interface for the entire world of professional audio production. So the track is finished. It's mixed, it's mastered. But let's be real, music isn't meant to just sit on a hard drive, right? It's meant to be performed and shared with people. So let's look at how VR is creating entirely new kinds of stages. In the world of DJing, there is one clear leader, and that's Tribe XR. This is so much more than a game. It's a hyper-realistic simulation that acts as both a training ground for aspiring DJs and a legit performance venue for professionals. The absolute key feature here is the official partnership with Pioneer DJ. These aren't just some generic virtual turntables. They are one-to-one digital replicas of the exact gear you'd find in the biggest clubs around the world. The app has everything from beginner lessons to live workshops with mentors, letting you go from absolute zero to performing a live set for a real audience in the metaverse. And this is the detail that really matters. The CDJ3000X and the DJ-MV5 mixer are the industry standard. That means the muscle memory you build in Tribe XR is directly transferable to a physical DJ booth in the real world. It's an unbelievably powerful and cost-effective way to master the craft. So, when you look at the whole spectrum, from the playful exploration in Virtuoso all the way to the professional power of Transient, the takeaway is pretty clear. It doesn't matter what your background is or what your ambition is. There is an entry point for you to start making music in VR, right now. All those traditional barriers are finally gone. This entire new world of creation is literally at your fingertips. It gets rid of the physical and the financial limits, and it leaves only one thing behind: your creativity. So really, the only question left to ask is, what are you going to make first?